Hey guys, welcome back, it's Ripe again. In today's title story, a Karen sues me because her kid fell into my pool after they broke into my property. In addition, please check out my podcast on all major podcast platforms by searching for Ripe Stories and you will find exclusive content. And now let's dive right into the video. The title story starts like this. When I was younger, I told myself that when I have my own house, it would be the best one possible. Over the years, I worked really hard to make this a reality and eventually, I built myself a home I truly loved. Swimming professionally meant no house would be one that I could call home unless it had a pool. My favorite part of my new house was easily the pool in the backyard. Swimming had always been my passion and having a pool right in my own backyard allowed me to indulge in my love for the sport whenever I desired. But my pool became more than just a training ground, it became a place of solace and a sanctuary where I could escape the pressures of life. Whether I was gliding effortlessly through the water or simply floating on my back gazing up at the fluffy clouds drifting by, the pool became my personal oasis of peace and tranquility. Word of my magnificent pool spread throughout the neighborhood, attracting curious neighbors and even local swimming enthusiasts. I gladly welcomed them, sharing my passion for the sport and the joy of owning a pool that fulfilled my childhood dreams. I organized impromptu swimming lessons for the children in the area, hoping to inspire the next generation of swimmers. Witnessing their smiles and the sparkle in their eyes as they took their first strokes in the water filled my heart with immense satisfaction. Swimming was a joy I could not keep from the people around me. That being said, I could not neglect the safety of my home. The perimeter of the house and the yard was lined by a real tall wooden fence that ensured trespassers would have a difficult time jumping the wall. Additionally, there were numerous security cameras around the pool area as well as a couple at the front gate. One of the perks of living in my neighborhood was that I didn't really have to worry about security as much as other people. It was a really safe place where most people were truly trustworthy. Additionally, I did not really deny anybody entry into my space or my pool, all they had to do was ask me for permission. However, even in the most harmonious communities, there are bound to be a few individuals who pose challenges. In my case, it happened to be my immediate neighbor, an individual who embodied the stereotypical traits of a Karen. She had 2 children and a boyfriend, and her behavior often caused friction within the neighborhood. Despite my efforts to foster a friendly and inclusive atmosphere, my neighbor seemed determined to disrupt the tranquility. She frequently complained about the noise from my pool activities even when they occurred during reasonable hours. It became evident that she had a tendency to create unnecessary conflicts and make unfounded complaints. While I strived to maintain a calm and respectful demeanor, her actions tested my patience. I engaged in open communication, attempting to address her concerns and find common ground, but it seemed futile. Eventually, I reached out to other neighbors seeking their support and understanding and discovered that they, too, had experienced similar encounters with her. One of the first instances where conflicts arose involved a neighboring family that frequently hosted weekend gatherings in their backyard. These gatherings often involved music, laughter, and lively conversations. However, Karen would regularly complain about the noise, claiming it disrupted her peace and quiet. Despite the family's efforts to keep the volume reasonable and end the gatherings at a reasonable hour, Karen remained discontented. Another conflict arose when a young couple moved into the house next to Karen's. They had recently welcomed a newborn baby, and as with any infant, there were occasional cries and fuzziness. Karen, however, became exceedingly irate about the noise, even when it was understandable for a young child. She would confront the couple, demanding they keep their baby quiet at all times. This created tension and frustration between them, as the couple felt Karen's demands were unreasonable. The worst part was that these demands made her the epitome of a hypocrite. Her children were the loudest I've ever come across, and they definitely took after their mother. She would fight with her boyfriend unnecessarily, and the entire neighborhood was forced to listen. But unlike her, we had the decency to not interfere in someone else's affairs. To make matters worse, when a group of teenagers organized a charity car wash in their driveway to raise funds for a local cause, Karen struck again. Their intentions were pure-hearted, but Karen saw it as an inconvenience and claimed it was a disturbance to the neighborhood. She confronted the teenagers, insisting they cease their activity immediately, which led to hurt feelings and resentment among the teenagers and their families. While I refused to treat her in a bad manner simply because of everyone's warnings, I still maintained my distance to avoid conflict. The only time I voluntarily approached her was when I noticed her children looking at the pool longingly. I went over to their house and told her that she is welcome to send them over while I took my weekly swimming classes for all the kids in the neighborhood. I truly meant no ill will, but Karen completely misunderstood me. She began yelling at me about how I am arrogant and how I assume that everyone is jealous of my pool. She told me she didn't want my pity and slammed the door on my face. Despite the encounter with Karen, I refused to let her negativity dampen my spirits or my determination to create a sense of community in the neighborhood. I continued organizing swimming lessons for the children, and gradually more families started participating, including some who were initially hesitant due to Karen's behavior. This only seemed to anger Karen even further. I could tell she was waiting for the perfect opportunity to get back at me. It baffled me because I don't think I did anything wrong in the first place. I told myself that I was being paranoid and ignored my instincts. I paid the price for that when I decided to go visit my parents for a week. The visit itself was amazing, but everything changed on the last day when I got a phone call from Karen. She started off by screaming at me and went on to tell me that she was suing me for how unsafe my pool was. She demanded I show up at court. I was speechless. I packed my bags and left immediately. I had to figure out what was going on. The drive back home felt like an eternity, my mind racing with thoughts of what could have transpired in my absence. I could not fathom how my pool, which had always been a source of joy and safety, could suddenly be deemed unsafe. Arriving at my neighborhood, I was greeted with an unfamiliar sight: construction tape surrounding the pool area, preventing anyone from entering. Confusion and frustration swelled within me as I approached the construction workers on site. They informed me that Karen had filed a complaint alleging that the pool's safety measures were inadequate, posing a risk to the neighborhood children. The local authorities, acting upon her claims, had ordered the pool to be temporarily closed until an inspection and resolution could be reached. I went back towards my main gate to collect footage from my security camera so I would have a better understanding of what was going on. I noticed that the lock on the gate had been broken. When I asked the other neighbors what had actually happened, they informed me that Karen had broken into my house 2 days back and she and her family had used my backyard and the pool to party. The alcohol bottles floating in the pool only served as further proof that they were intoxicated. While Karen was busy being drunk and yelling at her boyfriend loud enough for everyone in a 200-meter radius to hear, one of her kids had slipped and fallen into the pool. Unfortunately, the side of his head slammed into the edge and he had to be rushed to the hospital. The fall did not result in serious injury and the boy was completely fine in an hour, but Karen was pissed. This was what motivated her to try and sue me for the pool. I'm saying try because she miserably failed. Nice attempt though, Karen. She had not even realized that there were security cameras all around and that everything had been captured on video. I called my lawyer and we sued her instead for trespassing and destruction of property. My legal representative skillfully argued that the allegations made against me were unfounded and driven by personal animosity rather than genuine concern for safety. We highlighted the extensive security measures I had taken, including the tall wooden fence, security cameras, and the precautions implemented during the swimming lessons. Karen, on the other hand, had a very weak defense, which only proved to the judges that she had in fact trespassed, which was why her son had fallen into the pool in the first place. Additionally, I had witnessed on my side who were also wronged by Karen earlier. So after Karen incriminated herself, she had to pay a huge fine and was forced to do community service. This incident might not have changed who she is at her core, but it did force her to think twice before acting rashly. The neighborhood felt so much more peaceful after that. If you have watched until here and enjoy the stories about entitled outrageous Karens, then please don't forget to like the video and maybe even leave a comment because that would help me tremendously and make Disney very happy. The next one is a funny revenge story. So, my last job, I worked at a construction company that had a fairly large yard and land as well as a warehouse. In the yard were many old storage trailers, probably around 30 to 40, just old semi-trailers that were old and not really roadworthy anymore, so they are/were used to store customers' building materials, machinery to be delivered on the job. So basically there's a fairly long dirt road out to the very back portion of the yard that is not visible from the shop or warehouse because we mostly just keep our oldest and worst trailers out there before we get around bringing them to the junkyard. However, some of them are still used by customers trailers and have equipment in them. One day in mid-March, I was instructed to head back there to check in a trailer for one of our customers. Now, this was after a really snowy winter, so there was still a lot of dirty piles of snow everywhere and things like that, and more or less we had no reason to go back there during the winter as snow removal was so hard to stay on top anyway, and I hadn't been back there in a few months. So when I get back there, I'm pretty pissed when I see about 10 large black household trash bags in a big pile thrown underneath one of the trailers. This is a lot of effing trash, like a month's worth for a family of 5 or so, and at this point some raccoons or other wildlife had gotten to them, so they were pretty ripped apart and thrown about as well. Ah, what an a-hole. I'm pretty heated and I go back to the warehouse to get some stuff to clean it up, gloves, a shovel and a big bin to scoop it in, so I grab it with the forklift. About a minute into scooping it up, I am pissed because it's under a trailer, so that means I have to bend down and basically crouch, and it's extra difficult and awkward to shovel. A light goes on and I'm thinking any a-hole this dumb with this much trash certainly has thrown away some mail in this time period. Within 30 seconds, I find 3 pieces of mail with his name and address on it. I called an emergency police line and tell them someone has been dumping trash. Within a minute, a cop shows up and we have a chat of if I can approach this short of driving to the dude's address and spreading this crap all over his lawn, what my petty revenge idea was. So the cop is the man and actually goes to the address, finds out the guy moved, went to the post office, finds his new address and confronts him about it. Of course, the guy denies it with some story about how it must have been his landlord after he moved out, and the cop basically asked him if he would rather just clean it up or try to tell that story to a judge. So now that I knew he was gonna be back to clean it up, I threw all the trash back under the trailer and ripped the bags up a little bit more, so it was a bit more gross and unmanageable. The absolute best part was that the time he went back in the evening was torrentially downpouring with thunder lightning. Absolutely raining buckets, so he got to clean up his mess while me and 2 other officers watched him inside our nice warm dry vehicles while he got dumped on in very cold, very heavy rain. An absolute act of karma. And the next one is titled Gas Revenge. A few years ago, there was some kind of gas shortage or gas price gouging going on in my state. I really don't remember the issue. All I know is gas prices were outrageous and seemed to rise every day for a time period, and of course I remember this story because I think it was one of the first times as an adult I've experienced such entitlement. So back then I drove an SUV which got a cool 15 miles per gallon and had over a 20-gallon tank, so any place which had decently priced gas I found. Well, basically, I was picking my boyfriend up from the airport and found a gas station pretty close to it. Because prices were crazy and this was the only place for miles with decently priced gas, people waited for about an hour, and that's just what we were willing to do to save some time. I was anxious about being on time, PMSing hardcore, but figured I would save 20 bucks and wait, so I settled in. Everyone was being calm and respectful and waiting their turn, and I was next in line. The person pulls away and raises their hand to me to pull in, and I proceed to the pump. I should mention I think I was wearing a cartoon tee and shorts and looked like an unassuming nice person. However, all of a sudden, Craphead zips in from the side of the road and decides he's gonna take my spot. This guy looks like an older man, about 45, has these ridiculous pointed fancy cowboy boots and drives some crappy beater car. I put my car in park and pop out of my car, and our conversation goes like this. Me? Sorry, but I'm next in line and there's a huge line already. You need to wait. It's back there. Craphead. It won't be that long. Just wait. Me starting to get ticked off. No, I'm not waiting. You need to get in line like everyone else. The guy. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to be 5 seconds. Me starting to get incredibly pissed. No, you're not gonna do that. You're going to get your ass in the back of the line and move your car because it's my turn. Craphead. No, that's not happening. Craphead then proceeds to hop out of his car, and we realize that he is about 5 foot to my 5'10" and has this expression like he's gonna boss me around because I'm a girl. I can just see it in his face. Too bad my girl skin covers an absolute demon when I feel I'm being bullied. I noticed that Craphead has a Mrs. Craphead and little craplings in the car along with him. Me thinking profanity will bother him because his family is there and he will leave. You need to move your damn car. You are not getting gas. It's just not happening. Move your car now. You're not gonna cheat the line. That's severely effed up. Move your damn vehicle. Craphead, who thinks that repeating the same thing will get him somewhere. No, I'm not moving my car. I'm getting gas. At this point, I'm having severe cramps and just ready to go to postal. It's hot, I'm late, I'm furious, I'm bloody, because later I found out I actually rage menstruated during this incident. My uterus is on fire. I'm never one to be bullied, but at this moment in life I'm thinking I will flay this a-hole alive, bury his body and wait until I can harvest him as gas or light a match and blow us both up before he gets gas before me. Me? Nope, not a chance in hell. I look inside and the kids and wife kind of duck down in humiliation, so I start speaking louder. What kind of a-hole example of a father are you for getting such a bad example for your children that you can cut and cheat like you are doing here? I poke him in the chest for emphasis. Move your damn car. I stand between him and the pump. Over my dead effing body will you be getting gas before me today. Now we can stand here all day if you want, but you're not getting gas before me. It's not happening. And you can try to move me, but I wouldn't if I were you. The only way I'm getting gas before you is if you move your car. I poke his chest again, each word because I'm ready to fight at this point. So you need to move your car right now. A nice limo driver sees what's happening. Hey man, stop being a douchebag. The rest of the scores of people waiting notice and hear what's going on. Hey dude, move your damn car. Don't be bad. What the hell? You're a douche. Stop trying to cheat. Do you need any help? To me, hey man, get in the back of the line. It was like a domino effect and pretty much everyone was raging on him by this point, and we were 10 minutes into this at least. It was like he was Cersei doing the Walk of Atonement at this point. The guy is basically left with no choice and gets in his car red-faced and humiliated, clumping with his stupid boots, circles around and plops his rear in line for the hour, waits surrounded by people who know he's a jackass. I get my gas and while it's pumping, I thank everyone at the pump for speaking up. Then I nicely wave in the person who was next, waving and smiling to my new friends in the crowd like I've just been crowned Miss USA, as I drive away and some smile and wave back. Unsurprisingly, the guy doesn't smile or acknowledge my wave. And the next one is an Am I the Jerk story. My 82 female neighbor, 44 female, has 4 kids. 3 girls and a boy. There is Amelia and Emma, 17 female, Henry, 15 male, and Erica, 14 female. Amelia and Emma are posting this for me. So they moved here just before Erica was born, and I used to help their mom with the twins while she took care of the babies. Both my sons are child-free, and I consider these kids my grandkids. Amelia, Emma and Henry are amazing kids. They come over to help with chores, cook with me, and are very well behaved. Erica, however, is a nightmare. Even her mom admits to not being able to control her. She and I were never close and she used to only come to my house when I would invite the family over for dinner. Then I got my dog Bentley. Erica fell in love with him and would ask to come see him every day. I followed her to come when I was home for a while, but she started ignoring my instructions with him, so I started making excuses as to why she could not come over. Henry and the twins were still here for hours every single day. When the twins turned 13, I gave them the code to my garage so they could come over whenever they wanted. I gave Henry the code when he was around 12. All of the kids kept it a secret from Erica because they viewed my house as an escape from her. Erica saw Henry use the code yesterday and asked me to give her the code so she can play with Bentley. I told her I don't want her to come over without her dad, the only person who can control her, because of the behavior. According to the twins, she's been throwing tantrums non-stop since. Their mom is asking me to give her the code or a house key to get her to calm down and was very upset when I said no, so I wanted to see if I was the a-hole here. And yeah, right, stars, actually this is super fascinating because I've never seen an 80-year-old woman on r/Am I the a-hole before asking for Reddit's advice. So of course I will forward this to my lovely audience and I will ask you, do you think that this lovely grandma is the a-hole here or not? Let me know in the comments, and people on Reddit said, not the a-hole, getting the code to your garage is a privilege the other kids have earned. Through her actions, Erica has not earned the same privilege. Shame on mom for asking you to compromise your house to solve her inability to discipline and control her kid. Comment number 2, not the a-hole, your house, your rules. Her siblings have also already stated that they view your home as a safe haven, an escape from her. Why would you want to take that from them? This is her mother's problem. And you need to tell her that. When she asks again and gets upset when you say no, which will happen, make it clear that her child's behavior is not your problem and that she needs to parent her kid rather than just giving in to her demands. And the next one is titled, Neighbors Got Evicted. I moved into a duplex October of 2021 due to the fact my old landlord gave me a 2-week notice of selling the home I was renting. My husband, 2 dogs and me really enjoy our new home because it is bigger, amazing view of the lake and close to so many places. Everything has been great for us here. It's not your conventional duplex, there is a unit above me. Fast forward to February 8th this year, we got neighbors above us. They seemed pretty nice at first. I introduced myself as well as my spouse and they met both of our dogs. We were honestly glad someone was moving in upstairs because it seemed so lonely and thought maybe we could become friends or something. Not even 2 months go by, cops are stopping by left and right. 2 different boyfriends got arrested because of drug-related activities. They attempted to break into my house when we were gone. They are the only ones who have access to the shared porch that led to the doors for our own units. My security system got triggered for tampering. I've had packages and mail go missing, sharp objects under my car tires, even trying to peep in my windows. This past month though got really bad. They slammed doors so hard that pictures came off the wall, ruining our wedding photo and a smoke detector. The girlfriend and boyfriend would get into fights every day. They have moved in and kicked out about 4 people they let live with them. They changed the locks to the porch door, locking us out and refused to give us the key. Maintenance had to come out and drill the locks out and replace them with special rivets so they could not easily be removed. The worst part of it all, they would play music so loud I could hear the lyrics to each song every hour of the day. Sketchy and known drug addicts would be in and out all hours of the day and night, and I no longer felt safe or comfortable in or outside of my own home. My husband and I would watch to see if anyone was outside before taking dogs out or even going to our car. Being in a constant state of distress was our last straw. We were finally able to get copies of all police reports from every instance that happened here, got the camera footage from our Ring camera, took photos and videos of fights, music playing and pictures falling. 2 weeks later, today, they were loading up the U-Haul truck and left. I feel so relieved. No more anxiety or fear, all the negative energy left with them. I feel like I can actually take a deep breath of fresh air, not to mention the fact that they would intentionally knock on my door, making my dogs bark to try and get back at us. My post is scattered all over the place, but I can finally be grateful that this experience was not longer than what it was. And by the way, Ripe Stars, longtime viewers might know that the house right next to us in our neighborhood was empty for a long time. There were rumors circulating that rich Chinese people bought it as an investment property and don't really intend to live there. However, now it seems like that someone is actually moving in, so basically I am holding my breath that it is not someone that is going to be making a lot of loud noises. Because so far, and I'm kind of surprised by this, I never really had any issues with recording my videos in terms of noise. Which is surprising, to be honest, considering how many dogs there are in this neighborhood and how close to the airport we are. And with this, we have reached the end of the video. However, if you cannot get enough of my content, please check out my endless playlist, where you can find thousands of hours of content. In addition, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss any of my daily uploads. Thank you so much in advance, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.